Another year. Thank God I've made it this far. People, I know there are those of you out there who have been watching these videos and making your comments. Some of you are appreciative. Some of you agree. Some of you disagree. It's your right. We all have that right. Some of you are rude, unthinkable, crude, disgusting, despicable. And those of you who are, my guess is you're trollers, you're disinformation people, maybe on the payroll of the corporation, the gov, out there looking for people like me who are speaking their mind and verbalizing the thoughts of the public and making us try to look like fools. I do that myself without your help. I don't really need your help. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for moving in and trying to make me look stupid, but I do that just fine myself. And have it known that if you do come along and you verbally abuse me or you state something that is absolutely not true about me, you're deleted and you'll be blocked. It's that simple. The freedom of the use of the internet still exists. YouTube is censoring. The internet is under attack by those who would try to take our rights and freedoms away to be able to express ourselves. But the bottom line is so far so good. Now, with that out of the way, those of you who have been listening and are enjoying what I have to say, thank you. Thank you. Now, the reason I decided to do another video, which I haven't done in a while, is I've been reading some stories in the news that really have upset me. Many years ago, I used to run, I was a manager for a thoroughbred ranch a long time ago, back in the early 70s. The thoroughbred ranch was out in California. It was up in the mountains. I won't say where. It doesn't matter. But in that time, I was, in the land of fruits and nuts, and people are crazy, and the 70s was a wild time. And let me put it to you this way, first off, from the very start. I'm a heterosexual. I've always been heterosexual. I will remain heterosexual. That's my life. That's who I am. Now, gay people, I have friends who are gay. Being gay as an adult is someone's choice. It may not be something that everyone agrees with, but again, this is our country is a country so far where our choice of existence is our own, and if we choose to be sexually attracted to men or women, that's our business, as long as it doesn't become something that we push on people, like Christians push their religious beliefs on people. You don't see Buddhists out there going, hey, you should be a Buddhist. Now, of course, the Hare Krishnas, that's a whole other story. They're out there pushing their religion. Anyway, bottom line is a pusher's a pusher. Whether they're pushing drugs or sex, that's two different things. But it's the same. The bottom line is, or religion. But the bottom line is this. The thing that upset me and the thing that's got me on the move right now is this. During that time when I worked at this ranch, the friends, the people, they weren't really my friends. The people who hired me, they eventually let me know that they were bisexual. They were a heterosexually married couple, but they were bisexual. And the reason they hired me was that they knew I would retain my heterosexual belief and not become involved in their reality, so that I would be an asset to them in terms of running their horse ranch, which in a way I guess was a compliment. Well, during that time I met a friend of theirs who came out. I'd been there for quite a few years, who admittedly stated to me that he was a pedophile. Well, of course, at first I was a bit appalled and disgusted. But after a while, because it was my job and I was working there, I didn't care. He didn't bother me. He was staying there for a little while with them on his way through. One day I asked him, I said, what's the deal, man? What the hell is the deal? Why? Why are you this? What's your problem? And he was cordial. I could have been mean and ugly, but I was really curious. I wanted to know what the issue was. And he came forward and he started talking. And during the conversation, of course, he explained his belief, his sickness, and he admitted it was a sickness. He admitted it. It's a sickness. He said it. It's a sickness. I have a sickness. But then he told me something very important that I want to share now in the light of some events that are taking place. He told me that everyone thinks that pedophiles are dirty old men sitting around in the alleys and you know, at that time it wasn't so much the way it is now that people believe there are men sitting in front of their computers sharing, child pornography. He said, but the fact is that the pedophile community is huge. He said it's doctors and lawyers and policemen and politicians and people in higher places than you can imagine, and that they would protect each other if they had to, but if they were caught on the string out on the edge and and exposed, then they were left to dry, hung out to dry. They were hung out to dry in order to protect the community. Well, I know over the years there's been efforts since that time, since that conversation. And he also said to me that they had an agenda, that the agenda was to try to normalize pedophilia. Well, at the time he told me that they were called chicken hawks and that the children were referred to as chicken, which emphasized the disgusting aspect of it all for me even more than I had the feelings for. Well, years later now, I'm a father. This was way before I had become a father. Recently, there was a story in The Guardian by experts stating that pedophilia is a sexual preference. And I started researching, and I got into my research and looked and looked and looked, and I found quite a few stories stating that actually since the 70s, there has been an effort to normalize pedophilia. Now, for all you conspiracy freaks out there that know this, pedophilia is part of the Project Monarch agenda. Child pornography, child sexuality, abuse. And it's also part of the research done for mind control. Traumatization of the mind at an early age is the best way to create willing applicants and suspects who can be used for mind control techniques to utilize them in whatever subversive situations may be deemed necessary by the government. Pedophilia is an evil. It's an aberration. Sexual preference among adults is one thing. Now, the report goes on to state that pedophilia is even good for the children, that it's beneficial, that it's healthy. I can't even begin to tell you how absurd that is. You know, a child is a young mind, still unable to make choices that are correct, still learning what is right and wrong, malleable, like gold, can be made into anything. And for an adult to come along and say that it's normal for me to have sex with this child, I'd just as soon cut their genitals off and hang them by their nose and watch them bleed to death. Because there is absolutely nothing normal about wanting to have sex with a child. Now, I'm here to warn you. I don't care about Rush Limbaugh, but, he brought this to my attention. I listen to Rush Limbaugh because sometimes it's good to listen to the people you don't like. I don't like Rush Limbaugh. I despise the man. But you know what? Because I am a human being who believes that sometimes it's better to listen to people you don't agree with to see what they have to say, because sometimes you'll get things from people like that before you'll get anything from people that you agree with. He brought this to my attention. He was talking about it, and I checked it out. I don't agree with Rush Limbaugh 99.9% of the time, but on occasion, the man says something that I actually agree with. And this is one that I do agree with him on. It's an aberration. It's disgusting. Pedophilia has no place in our society. It has no place in society in general, any more than the rape of women does. any more than the abuse of humanity in any form or fashion does. Now, when I was told in the early 70s that the Pedophile Society had an agenda, it does. The history of pedophilia goes way back. In fact, there are records of a Nazi officer who did research on children, Jewish children, giving the families the option of being either killed or handing their children over. I won't give you the details of this research that has been documented, but it is absolutely horrible. And the victims of that research some of them are still alive. And they will not discuss this moment in their lives, this time that they grew up in, because it was so horrible for them. I implore you, I beg you, no, I don't beg you, I demand that you, as a human being, do your research. Stand up. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, black, white, yellow, pink, purple, green, or red. Do not allow these people, and I'm telling you, people that are in all walks of life, from policemen to judges to politicians to CEOs to members of the entertainment industry, none of these people should ever be given the opportunity to make this disgusting behavior normal. At all. At all. Unite against this disgusting thing. It is an evil. Our children deserve far better than that. Far better than anything that even resembles that. Protect your children. Corey Feldman came forward last year speaking about the evils of pedophilia and the rampant behavior throughout the entertainment industry, and that children all through the entertainment industry are actually victims of this incredible, horrible, disgusting behavior. There are quite a few child stars who have come forward over the years. But all of this information came out, and then there was a shakeup, I believe, in December of last year. No, 2 years ago. December 2 years ago. Have you heard anything about it since? Have you seen anything from it? No. Because these people have so much frickin' money and power, they can squash it in a second. You have to understand this is worse than evil. It's part of the agenda for mind control, for humanity's control. They are out there, and they will do whatever they can to do what it is they want. We have to stop them. I don't know how. I don't know what we can do to stop them. But we need to stand up against this. If we stop this from becoming normal, if we stand in the way of this particular aberration and say enough is enough, this is where we draw the line. Our children are sacred. You keep your frickin' filthy hands off of them and go to hell and get them out of these places of power that they are in. That can be a step in the right direction for the victory of humanity and for what's good and for what's sacred in our lives. One thing that we keep, at least one thing that they can't touch. And that should be our children, and we need to stop them now. I don't care how. Think about it. Think about it. Give it thought.